All right, let me tell you about something.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk a little bit about the best business in the world. Now, this business, Chamath, who I think is coming on the pod actually, has said it's the singular best business model and monopoly ever created. This is easy for you to guess, right?
Ritz crackers. No, it's got to be Google.
Google.
Facebook. Yeah.
Google. And so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Google and search engine stuff because I've been interested in this for years. I've been interested in DuckDuckGo, which I called that shot. I think I missed it. I thought it was going to grow a lot faster than it actually has, but it's like slowly coming about.
This is, by the way, this is going to be the episode where we take credit for things that we had absolutely no part in and actually didn't call our shot. And in fact, kind of doubted it early on.
It's like, hey, do you like making right-hand turns on a red light? Yeah. I invented that.
Doing that. I was doing that when I was 16.
Yeah. I
when I had my permit.
I created it. I created that. And so the reason, let me tell you why I've been interested in it. Type 4 athletic fitting dress pants.
Hey, the autocomplete had no idea what I was doing there. That's not a common search.
Thick boy pants.
Yeah.
All right. I was searching for this the other day and I had to scroll down so far to get to a website because if you look through like the first, it's like tons and tons of images. Is that what you see?
So I see tons of images. So I see a whole shopping carousel. Then I see a couple of ads, and then I scroll down. I see Amazon. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So you got to scroll down a ton to get to a website. It's actually quite annoying. And so Google's been pissing me off. And you just talked about how they have gone through some stuff, and you still believe in the company. I'm slowly starting to lose faith in their company because their search has been really shit. And it's starting to piss me off. And so I've been looking for all their other alternatives.
Did you Google for them? Did you just Google search for alternatives?
Yeah. I mean, it's like even though I hate it, I use it, like it's like an abusive lover. But I was doing some research on when they first started. So Google started in the late 90s. And when they did, Sergey and Larry, the founders, they created this paper called The Anatomy of Large-Scale Hypertextual Web Search Engine. Riveting stuff. Right. But
please take my power writing course, Larry Page.
Yeah.
That title is awful.
And in that paper, they talk about like what they think is possible with a search engine, and they kind of started from an academic point of view, which is pretty cool though to see like their predictions. And there's this one line. It says, in general, it could be argued from the consumer point of view, the better the search engine is, the fewer advertisements will be needed for the consumer to find what they want. And then he says, the goals of the advertising business model do not always correspond to providing quality search to users.
So like 30 years later, they just went back and edited it and they're like, nah.
yeah. Like the subtext on their, like the subheadline is just psych. Like they just like change it. And then they said, for this reason, as well as for this reason, we expect that advertising funded search engines will be inherently biased towards the advertisers and won't be aligned with the consumer's needs. And they actually go on to say that they think a subscription service search engine is actually the answer. Of course, that is the opposite of what they've eventually have become. Google is a $1.5 trillion company, market cap company, and 95% of the revenues come from search. And it's the greatest business model of all time. I don't know how many people work at Google exactly. I think over 100,000, but I would imagine that you could basically fire everyone but like 1,000 people and the company would just thrive. It would be the most profitable company in the world. And the crappy part about Google, well, I guess it's good for them, bad for us, is that their moat is quite simple, which is the more people who use the search engine, the better it understands like which results to give you. And so it's just going to get better, or supposedly better and better and better, but harder for a new person to create an alternative. Now, ultimately, I think actually OpenAI is going to be an alternative. Gartner had this report where they said by 2026, they think 25%. Google search is going to be reduced by 25% because of AI. But I found a new alternative that just launched publicly a few days ago, or about a month ago. They've been around quietly, but they like kind of they had like a big like launch coming out party the other day, and it's kind of cool. So it's called, I actually don't know how to pronounce it. It's Kagi. Yeah, sorry.
Off to a good start.
I mean, how do you say this word? Kagi.
Yeah, Kagi.
Kagi? Kagi? Yeah, I don't know. But it's got an interesting premise. So it was started by this guy named Vladimir. And the premise is that there are 0 ads and it's $5 to $10 a month for a subscription. And I think that that's like an interesting premise, but I don't think that that would work that well. However, this guy's story is pretty interesting. So he started bootstrapping this business in 2018, slowly started making progress. And at this point, he's got about 30,000 people who pay for it. And if you go to Kagi.com, KAGI.com/stats, he reveals all of his stats. And so you can see the number of paid members. You can see how many searches are happening per day. All of his stuff is pretty transparent. And I love when people do that stuff. It's so fascinating to see. And the reason he had this like big like launch recently is because they just raised $800,000. And very stupidly, it looks like they're spending that $800,000 to buy 20,000 t-shirts to send to their 30,000 members. So, Vlad has some questionable judgment when it comes to finances.
Is that real?
Yeah. So they blog like all about the business. So if you go to their blog.kagi.com, they blog about like everything that's going on in the company. And so they're actually pretty transparent. And in the thing, he was like, yeah, and we're going to be sending out 20,000 t-shirts. And I was like doing the math and I was like, oh, that's like $800,000. Like, so that's questionable. But he has like this whole manifesto online and it's pretty fascinating. And this is the type of entrepreneur who I really like because he's got this blog, his personal website. He says, I'm dedicating the work.
By the way, be honest. When you found out the founder's name was Vladimir, already you were pretty biased to like this thing, right?
Yeah,
like,
I'm in.
You can add an extra million to that valuation if your name is Vladimir.